Impossible! You've done the impossible! Had you asked me 1 year ago about completing the Columbia Business School MBA during the worst pandemic in over a century, I would have thought, impossible. But you did. So please accept my congratulations on an extraordinary accomplishment. I'll never forget you, the class of 2021, for your resilience, your good humor, and your commitment to learning in the face of adversity. Again, congratulations and best wishes to all of you.
Class of 2021. I am so excited to get to congratulate you on your graduation. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed working with you all over the past year. Yeah, it really just speaks to what an exceptional bunch of human beings you are. That even with Zoom and HyFlex and pandemic and plague and God knows what else, I was still able to feel your enthusiasm and your intelligence and your engagement just burst through the screen again and again and again. So thank you so much for being you and for letting me share my love of all my nerdy analytics stuff, but hopefully it's going to stay with you throughout your careers. And honestly, for just really enriching my life over the past 2 years, especially the last year of lockdown. I really expect to hear extraordinary things from all of you. Don't you dare become strangers. You've got to stay in touch. Until then, once again, so many congratulations. Have a wonderful, wonderful graduation.
Congratulations, class of 2021, for becoming graduates of the Überbrand, that is Columbia Business School. Go forth and make it part of your personal brand myth. And remember, don't compromise. You are all you've got, but now you also got what it takes. So congratulations again, and all the best.
Earlier last summer, I saw so many of you speak out about racial justice. During the school year, I saw the many ways that many of you constantly bring up insights and feedback about how we can bring more technology and entrepreneurship into the classroom. And even more, I've seen clubs like BBSA and ABA, in addition to all of the other cultural affinity groups at CBS, force us to confront tough but important questions. I've seen clubs such as TDA completely transform the idea of a conference through AliCon. And I also see you, CBS Follies, making us laugh through all of it. You are an inspiration, CBS class of 2021, and for that, I will forever be grateful. I will never forget you, and I hope you never forget us here at CBS. Congratulations, everyone. You're always welcome back. Don't be a stranger.
Hello, class of 2021. When I think about this past year and your entire time at CBS, I think about both challenge and resilience. And so I thought I would read to you a quote from a book that I love very much called Emergent Strategy about that. We are constantly impacting and changing our civilization, each other, ourselves, intimates, strangers. And we are working to transform a world that is by its very nature in a constant state of change. Many of us have been socialized to understand that constant growth, violent competition, and critical mass are the ways to create change. But emergence shows us that adaptation and evolution depend more on critical, deep, and authentic connections, a thread that can be tugged for support and resilience. The quality of the connection between the nodes in the pattern. As you move forward into your new career and everything that awaits you post-CBS, I hope you reflect on the challenge and resilience and draw upon the connections that you built both with your peers, the administration, and the CBS community. It's been an honor and a privilege to be your Dean of Students for the past 3 months. I wish you the absolute best, and I cannot wait to see what you all do.
Welcome and congratulations, class of 2021. The big day is finally here, and what a strange and interesting journey it's been. When we first gathered 2 years ago, we could have never imagined the journey we'd take. It's been 2 years of firsts, and getting to this point has not been easy. We've found resilience in the face of challenges. We've experienced the classroom differently. We've reimagined the campus and found new ways to learn. On campus, from our living rooms, and from locations across the globe, we've redefined the Columbia Business School experience.
I remember orientation. I remember the first week of coming to Columbia and getting to know the cluster.
Orientation was crazy. Going into our cluster room and they were just blasting music, it felt really weird, and I was, like, what is happening? Who are these people? Why do they all have boas and sunglasses on?
First semester is overwhelming.
Busy, intense, almost like a very New Yorker lifestyle.
People were incredibly supportive. People were always willing to help me out.
We all come from different places, have different upbringings, but Columbia is a special place that brought us all together.
It was very much culture to walk. Everyone walks together up to the 3rd floor and stands in line and grabs this coffee. Now, was it good coffee? Absolutely not.
The Urus coffee, which to be honest, I don't miss. I'm glad to have my Keurig at home.
You need a sugar to drink it. I think only psychopaths drink it black, but either way, it did its job and helped.
Over the past year, we've discovered determination and resilience. And while we've faced obstacles unique to any other class in CBS history, we've also discovered new things like how to dress Zoom business casual. We've also found time to laugh, to make new friends, to view things differently, and to imagine the future in a way no other class has.
Everyone was just thinking that it was going to be a very temporary thing. And now I just look back to how young and naive we all were, right?
And even though there was a lot of confusion, we weren't sure how long this was going to be happening for, it still was a pretty good solution in the time that we had.
And all of our expectations, all of our hopes were shattered. And yet the students, our peers, they came together.
One of the silver linings of COVID was I spent more time on academics and pushed myself into the types of classes I honestly never imagined myself taking.
Being virtual was a way for us to get to know each other even better. So instead of talking to each other for maybe 30 seconds at a time at a given social event, we were having these long-form conversations on Zoom, which made things a lot more intimate.
We all pretty much really stayed inside, stayed indoors, didn't see one another for many months. It wasn't until really summer where things were more open, outdoor dining opened up, and that became an opportunity for us to at least start seeing one another outside. We are very lucky to have Central Park.
We've also discovered what we have in common with the classes that have gone before us: hunger for knowledge, wisdom, and the belief that ideas and entrepreneurship can transform the future. We've faced it all, and now we are here. Congratulations, class of 2021. Welcome to your graduation.
Over the past 20 months, you have started over 40 companies, including a carbon-neutral clean beauty brand, a web-based career advancement platform, and a marketplace for underrepresented minority-owned businesses. You have worked with over 20 nonprofit organizations, including Harlem Chamber Players, the Jericho Project, Fortune Society, and Our Children. You provided financial, operations, and marketing advice to numerous companies on Morningside Heights and West Harlem, including Bottom Line Construction, Go Carry, and Black Widow Pest Control. You partnered with the school to create a thought leadership series that hosted over 40 programs, including the role of business in creating a sustainable future, improving healthcare during COVID-19 through analytics, and leadership in the pandemic. You preserved our strong sense of community by organizing over 780 events this past year, both virtual and in person, including wine tasting, game nights, home workouts, and meditation sessions. You pushed all of us, and you partnered with all of us. So congratulations, graduates, you made it. The journey has been truly unforgettable, and I hope you feel as proud of all that you have accomplished as I do. Today, you enter the world together as Columbia graduates. I'm confident that you're positioned for incredible success. Collectively, your class of 762 is extraordinary and extraordinarily diverse. You come from 52 different countries, as far as Kazakhstan, Madagascar, Nigeria, and the Philippines. And you speak 41 different languages and dialects, including Turkish, Hungarian, Dutch, Igbo, and Hindi. Your professional backgrounds are vast, working in countless industries, including but not limited to finance, consulting, media, music, the military, government, and sports. Your paths converge here from many different walks of life, many different parts of the world, and with many different goals in mind, all sharing an intent to make your personal mark in our community and to the world. You join a vibrant community of alums who are decision makers and leaders at the very center of business. They're entrepreneurs, industry pioneers, and game changers. It's a network of more than 49,000 individuals who do influential work and important work. You've been working toward fulfilling this role since the day you arrived on campus for orientation, when we challenged you to be active and engaged members of this community. You have actually met this challenge, of course, as students, whether by serving as your classmates through formal channels like the peer advisor program or student government, playing a role in the successful execution of countless events, both in person and virtual, lending an invaluable voice at club meetings, or sharing your ideas about the MBA experience. Today, we're celebrating a commencement. It's a new beginning. In your lives, this moment will be a moment, an important milestone, a guidepost that marks a new chapter. This journey has not always been easy, and in fact, this entire community has faced enormous loss with the passing of one of our own, one of your peers, Max Tikaya. Let us take a moment of silence to remember him and the others who have lost in the past few years. But for all that you have lost, and for all that you have lived through and still living through, I'm certain that you have gained even more in strength, innovation, resourcefulness, and perseverance. You have come together, stepped up, and as true leaders, been insightful partners in navigating this period for our school. We're in a new decade right now, and of course, the world took an unpredictable turn this past year, bringing with it a period of complexity and disruption for all of us and for the economy as well. But this period is transient, and we can all be optimistic with a robust rollout of the new vaccines both here and abroad. Without a doubt, our collective actions, we will continue to overcome this crisis, helping our society become more resilient for the future. As we start the process of returning to normal, we should not forget what we experienced this past year. Instead, we should examine every facet of society, what we do, how we do it, and search for efficiencies and opportunities that will create better outcomes for everyone. The economy is itself on a path of robust recovery that brings opportunities for impact that were not apparent just a year ago. The push towards digital banking may finally gain escape velocity. Healthcare delivery has already undergone a revolution in the past year alone, with more to come. Technology, as a factor of societal change and efficiency, has only accelerated. Data-driven decision-making is guiding most aspects of our path forward, including the timing and modality of this commencement address right now. Transportation, travel, and hospitality continue to be disrupted, and these areas may see permanent changes in consumer behavior and demand. Financial markets will show significant opportunities for investment. Real estate markets may be at an inflection point if commercial and residential needs and usages shift. Retailing is being transformed. The list is long. Now, more than ever, is the time to foster progress, facilitate growth, and lead. You leave Columbia well prepared to meet this change and accept the challenges of this unprecedented business and economic environment, because this program has given you not only the skill set, but the mindset for a career in business. Individually, you've been exposed to thought leadership that is constantly informed in real time by the global business environment. Groundbreaking research from the school's faculty influences businesses' practices in every sector. A transformative 21st century curriculum has taught you to create opportunity in any environment. Faculty like my friends and colleagues Dan Wang, who you honored with the Robert Lear Service Award this year, and Medini Singh, who was the recipient of the Singhvi Prize, have engaged you and challenged you in our classrooms. You're critical thinkers, You can adapt and excel in complex settings with uncertainty, and you can see opportunities and seize on them even while faced with incredible challenges. It is this last point that I've been most impressed by in your class and that I believe will serve you well in all that you will do. The reputation and strength of Columbia Business School has equipped you with the knowledge and access you will need to make a lasting impact on business and beyond. As an alum, it will provide you with the connections and support to foster creativity, invite entrepreneurial thinking, and open doors to opportunity. These tools will give you the confidence and ability to succeed on your own terms. You couldn't be better prepared for the career challenges that lie ahead. So what happens now? In one sense, you'll graduate. You'll become part of our alumni network throughout the world. You go from being a student to being an alum and making a mark in the world. Indeed, though you have since departed campus, your education and this journey are far from over. In fact, the real work begins now. You should begin a life of engagement in business and in society. You have much to contribute to both, and I know you will. Most of all, never forget the noble calling of business and business principles and the power that lies within each of you to transform lives, communities, and the world. This is now your individual and collective responsibility. We, this Global Columbia Network, are here for you and with you. Tap into this network, continue to hone your skill set, and nurture the relationships that you have built over the past 2 years. The value of your degree will continue to unfold over your lifetime, and I look forward to seeing all that you will do with it. Remember that your MBA is a master of choices, and that what matters the most is the change that you will individually choose to make in the world. So congratulations to all of you.
Graduates of the class of 2021, congratulations.
You have been tested and challenged in ways no other class has.
That even with Zoom and HyFlex and pandemic and plague and God knows what else, I was still able to feel your enthusiasm and your intelligence and your engagement just burst through the screen.
You made it. Congratulations. You survived the Rona and you survived the HyFlex.
I'll never forget you, the class of 2021, for your resilience, your good humor, and your commitment to learning in the face of adversity.
We're all in this together, and we have to work together to solve the problems that we face in common.
There is a new order taking form, and you, in fact, are the change agents to make it happen. And therefore, as you look forward into life beyond Columbia, think not just about what does the future hold for me, but also about what do I want to shape and make this future for the world, for myself, for my community.
Remind me a lot of the monkey god, Hanuman, who I brought here along with me, who represents that in the midst of great adversity, there's a time when heroes stand up and make things happen.
The reason why I love teaching so much is because I learn every year from my exchanges with the students. I never saw teaching as a one-way street, and you never missed an opportunity to challenge me at every junction.
It's been an honor and a privilege to be your Dean of Students for the past 3 months. I wish you the absolute best, and I cannot wait to see what you all do.
I hope all of you will choose some beautiful trouble in the years ahead, and I can't wait to see what you become. I'm cheering you on, class of 2021. Congratulations.
I wish you the best of luck starting your own companies, leading change in your organizations, and changing the world. And I really can't wait to see what you accomplish next. So congratulations and best wishes.
Thanks to all of you who've put in the hard work to get here, to earn your degree, to help out others to reach their goals, and to have a positive impact on CBS and in the world at large.
So let me close with a Jick-in-a-Box final wisdom. Learning often comes in ways you can never predict. But when it does, take that fork. Onwards and upwards, class of 21, and remember, we will always have our Zoom and change memories together. Congratulations.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce this year's distinguished speaker and alumna, Maryam Banikarim. Maryam is the co-founder of New York City Next and the head of marketing for Nextdoor. New York City Next is a volunteer organization that harnesses the ingenuity and irrepressible spirit of fellow New Yorkers to create New York moments of joy. At Next Door, Maryam leads the company's efforts to elevate the brand and manage across the marketing, communications, and policy, community, and global teams. Prior to Next Door, Maryam was Global Chief Marketing Officer at Hyatt, Gannett, NBC Universal, and Univision. In each role, she innovatively applied a wide array of marketing tools to move her organization forward, creating value while inspiring employees, customers, and a range of stakeholders. Maryam currently serves on the board of the public company One Spa World and the Samsung Retail Advisory Board, and she's an executive in residence at Columbia University School of Professional Studies. She's a chairwoman emeritus of Reporters Without Borders and an advisor to Brand 50, Strawberry Frog, and the Cove Hill Partners. She's also a member of Fast Company's Impact Council and Adweek's Women Trailblazers. She's a graduate of Barnard College, Columbia Business School, and Columbia School of International Affairs. Maryam has been widely recognized for her achievements, and in 2019, she was awarded the Columbia Alumni Medal, the highest honor given by the Columbia Alumni Association.
Thank you, Dean Maglaras, faculty, and staff. Thank you, Steve Nelson and the Business School class of 2021 for sharing this day with me. And of course, congratulations to you and your families. You'll notice that in the program, I'm listed not as your commencement speaker, but as today's distinguished speaker. Distinguished. That's kind of a funny word, isn't it? At its most literal, it means someone who is atypical, incongruous, abnormal, maybe even a little weird. I would be proud to be called any of those things, which is why, as I stand here today, my greatest hope is to inspire each one of you to be distinguished in all the ways that are specific and peculiar to you. Graduates, in the spring of 1993, I was sitting where you are today. And even then, I was more than a little certain that I was different. I mean, distinguished from many of my fellow graduates. I was an immigrant, an outsider, thanks to the Iranian Revolution of 1979. I was financially insecure, more than most, I would imagine, because I had lost my father in an accident. And I suspected that I was different than my fellow graduates, because rather than desperately looking for a job, I was desperately looking for a calling. You see, I had already made the mistake of taking a job for the money. The previous summer, at a time where I desperately needed money, I worked at an investment bank, thinking, maybe my calling, it could also be unbelievably well-paying. I began asking everyone at the bank, would you do this job if they didn't pay you the big bucks? Most people looked at me a little bit perplexed, except for one guy who told me he loved the yield curve. He clearly had found his calling. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked my paycheck, but I didn't love the yield curve, which helps explain why, 1 year later, despite my student loans, I signed up for one of the lowest paying jobs of anyone in my graduating class, a job in advertising. Unlike the rest of my class, and probably many of you, I didn't have a 3-year plan, I didn't have a 5-year plan. What I did have was lots of ideas, and the willingness to go all in on these ideas, no matter how crazy or distinguished. So now, almost 30 years later, I'm here to tell you that you can pay your bills, pursue your passion, and find success. So here's my 4-step plan for what you can do to have a very rewarding career. Number 1, find something you care about. Turns out, finding a calling, it's kind of too high of a bar. While part of me was waiting to figure out what I was destined to be and willing to starve for, I began making lists. Lists of things I cared about, no matter what those were. I cared about throwing parties, and I put it on the list. I cared about travel, journalism, movies, fashion, New York City. My list, it's long, and I bet that yours is too. Of course, making a list isn't enough. So point number 2, you gotta do, you have to do. When I found things I cared about, be they people or companies, I reached out, and I still have the letters to prove it. Whether it was the guy who was opening up a 1950s diner on the corner of 116th and Broadway where Shake Shack is, or Robert Stigwood, who was making Evita the movie in Argentina, or the Outward Bound School in Lesotho, where I wanted to work. Most of these letters, yes, pre-internet, they went unanswered. But you know what? That didn't stop me. And then there was that one time when somebody did respond. In college at Barnard, I'd written an insider's travel column. And then I saw a campaign, a print campaign by The Gap called Individuals of Style. Nationally, they featured famous celebs like Kim Basinger wearing a classic white t-shirt. The campaign was so successful that they localized it. In New York City, they featured indie star John Lurie, a musician who'd been in all the early Jim Jarmusch movies. John Lurie used to hang out at a dive bar in the East Village called Max Fish. I'd written about this in my travel column. So this made me think, I should partner with The Gap, and I should combine my travel column with their pictures, creating an insider's city guide. Then comes doing. So in just one Sunday afternoon, I mock up the guidebook, and I finagle a meeting at Gap headquarters. But nothing came of it. Fast forward to business school, when a classmate, Debbie Getz, sees the mock-up in my bookshelf, and she says, Mickey Drexler, the CEO of The Gap, just spoke to our retailing class. You should send this to him. Turns out Debbie gave great advice, something she's continued to do in the 30 years we've worked together ever since business school. So I double down on my idea yet again. I sign up for Professor Jadidi's market research class, and I use the book as my case study. Then I write a letter, and I mail it along with the mock-up to Mickey Drexler, the Gap CEO. Bias to action, AKA do. It's finals, and the phone rings. And it's Mickey. He's looked at my insider's guide, and he wanted to connect. He wanted to know if I was interested in a job at the Gap. I hadn't really thought about a job. I was focused on making my guidebook. So he sets me up with his head of recruiting who tells me that I should consider a career in marketing because my idea, it's really a marketing idea. So although the insider's guide never saw the light of day, it led me to what I'm doing today. Turns out the insider's guide was really an insider's guide to me. I was a marketer. So point number 3, find your purpose, your why. In other words, anchor your do in your purpose. Turns out I was a millennial before my time, or so my much more millennial sister Susie always tells me. You see, at the time, I didn't know what my purpose was, or even what a purpose was. But in looking back, I clearly did, and it was guiding my career decisions even before I could explain it to myself or others. That is why, despite my need for financial security, I moved from job to job when something was amiss. So, here's my resume after B School. Y&R Turner, City Search Macmillan, Ammirati, my own bag business, my own consulting business, Univision, NBC, Gannett, Hyatt, and now Nextdoor. It felt like my mom, she never called me at the same job twice. So, let me save you some time and some unnecessary printing of business cards. Purpose is the only roadmap you'll need. It's a way to understand what drives and inspires you. It helps you make better decisions because it gives you a framework. And most importantly, it helps you understand your non-negotiables. It doesn't matter if you've already taken a job or if you're still looking. Finding your purpose will help you navigate an authentic and intentional course that allows you way more flexibility than a 3 or 5 year plan. Now this brings me to 4, my final point. Do and do together. After Hyatt, I took some time off. My kids, Natasha and Nikki, they call it my gap year. Even in a gap year, I started doing. I spent time exploring Chicago, the city I'd been living in for 3.5 years, but barely knew. I spent time with family and friends. I wrote articles, I joined boards, and I took on consulting projects. But something was amiss. I missed working with others and making a difference. So I arrived at a 4 questions to help me figure out what was missing. And today, I share those with you. Graduates, from this day forward, here are 4 questions you can ask yourself before considering a job. Do you care, as in believe? Do you get to work with people you respect? Can you learn? And most importantly, can you have impact? These are the questions that brought me to Nextdoor. So, what is Nextdoor? Nextdoor is an app founded to help you plug into the neighborhoods that matter to you, to connect you to your neighbors digitally, but in order to connect with them in real life. It's about leveraging technology to enable human connection. Now, I started working at Nextdoor 3 weeks before the pandemic. No, I didn't have a magic 8-ball. No, I didn't predict the pandemic. And no, I didn't know that neighbors and neighborhoods is where it's at. I simply made a decision based on my purpose: to create connections that build communities that make a difference. Now, let me take this moment and acknowledge how difficult this year has been. We humans, we actually need each other, and yet we've had a year where we've experienced collective disconnection on a global scale. No one fully understands the consequences of what we're still experiencing: the loss, the strain, the long-term mental health implications, and yet we are the lucky ones. Something the pandemic helped me realize is that we need to spend time doing good for our community, or at least try, and be kind, or at least always, always try. In August, tired of all the stories of New York City being dead, my husband Andy, who by the way I met in Professor Leff's macroeconomics class, and I emailed a few friends to say, who is in to help the city we love? And New York City Next, an idea, a grassroots movement, was born. Our purpose: to position New York as the creative and innovative city that will spark its next great era through the resilience and creativity of its residents. We came together to do. 14 pop-up events in 3 boroughs and 7 neighborhoods has only been possible because of the 600+ volunteers who all give of themselves for the collective we. We have experienced firsthand how stepping up to help turns your despair into purpose. It has given us positivity, joy, and most importantly, an incredible sense of community. So in closing, let me say, despite this crazy pandemic year, we are the lucky ones. You today are graduating from one of the top business schools, and for my money, the best. Your hard work has earned you the privilege of joining an amazing and powerful community. As you go forth, remember, you are part of the Columbia Business School community and a part of the greater Columbia University alumni community. I can tell you that New York City Next has been enabled in great part by the amazing network that Columbia University has afforded me. And this is a gift you get by virtue of just being here today. So, what are the 4 things I want you to remember? Pick something you care about. Do. Find your purpose and do it together. Columbia Business School class of 2021. You are graduating into a world where what makes you unique is what makes you indispensable. And into a time that demands that we prioritize we over me. Connect to your purpose and make a difference. And may today be the first day of your distinguished career. Thank you and congratulations in advance on all you are going to surely accomplish. That's my Mary Tyler Moore moment for you. Little trivia.
CBS has really taught me that everyone has a story.
That I think it's really important to let others speak first, especially when you're in a leadership role.
The major thing I learned is have a sense of humor about things. It's not as bad as it seems.
Often in my life, I've kind of passively accepted things the way they are, or haven't really questioned things. And one thing that I've learned, particularly from my classmates, is just, not always just accepting the status quo and always asking, is there a better way we could do this?
Even in the toughest global pandemic,
we can still come out on top. What I love about CBS Matters is that you really get to hear directly from your peers.
Any given classmate should share their life story, free form, whatever he or she wants to talk about.
And it's just another way to get deep with some of your classmates.
What I come to understand is that no matter how different we were before business school, now we are all part of the same community.
And just realizing that people's differences in general, but especially when you're working with a team, is what makes everybody as a whole better.
One great lesson I learned from CBS is that the best way to learn and develop leadership skills is to get out of our comfort zone and engage in diverse community activities.
I feel more willing to take risks and make decisions that will genuinely make me happy.
Just putting yourself in situations where you don't have to feel qualified, but you're excited and you want to learn about something.
A big lesson I've learned from CBS that it's all about the people. We have a responsibility to also to do well for our society.
Put your time in people. That's kind of what I would say.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce this year's student speaker, Pritika Gupta. Pritika earned her bachelor's degree in economics, math, and history from Emory University. After graduating, she worked in sovereign debt at Goldman Sachs in Singapore, and then moved to Mumbai to work at a leading Indian M&A investment bank, Arput Capital, where she covered technology and retail companies. She's a proud member of Cluster C. She's co-president of Columbia Entrepreneurs Organization, VP of Promotion and Marketing for Follies, and a Cluster G 2022 peer advisor. She also served as the head of partnerships for a South Asian focused beauty startup called Kulfi Beauty, which launched in February 2021. Post-business school, she plans to work on strategy and operations to build tech products for the next billion users.
Thank you. Good morning, Deans of Columbia Business School, professors, parents, friends, and my brilliant classmates of the class of 2021. My name is Pritika Gupta, and it is the honor of my life to stand before you today. When you're selected as student speaker, OSA tells you you have this unique opportunity to speak on behalf and reflect the voices of 800 people. But see, I'm an only child from a large Indian family. I have been preparing for today for my whole life. I thought long and hard about what I would say to such an accomplished, talented, and exceptionally good-looking group of classmates today. Maybe I talk about the possibilities ahead of us when we leave these gates, but I, like most of you, am still crying after the Follies closure. You know, when we're asked in our MBA applications about where we see ourselves in the short term, I recall writing the most exaggerated response. I think I said something like, I aim to learn how to scale businesses and thrive in global commerce. And I have learned how to, I think. But that is the very least of what I have learned. So if the admissions committee is agreeable, I would like to revisit that response and offer instead an honest reflection of what I have learned from all of you, a case study on community building and measuring things a little bit differently. I'd like to offer to you SA2 version 18.0, where do we see ourselves in 5 years? In 5 years from today, I sincerely hope that we succeed. But should we fail, that we find a way to do it gracefully. My journey to business school has shown me that it is both alarmingly liberating and audaciously invigorating to come to terms with your current limitations, only to unmask the realm of your own future possibilities. But before we fail, I hope that we find ourselves inspired more often than we feel like imposters. Or better yet, that we are courageous enough to put ourselves in situations that incorrectly warrant those feelings. Do not underestimate the simple act of making someone feel like they belong or helping someone feel seen. So go ahead and network, but turn some of that outreach into reaching out to pat someone else on their back or by pulling someone else up when they need it most. I think in 5 years, if we try, we will unlearn as much as we learn. There is perhaps nothing more sinister than a well-wrapped, antiquated idea, and when faced with them, that we challenge them entirely. I hope that when we are truly tested on our character, when life is so much more than a 24-page case, paging Professor Singh, and we cannot skip the exhibits, that we will rise to the occasion of what is demanded from us. when movements, especially those aimed to protect communities and democratic institutions, call for a response, that we are urged to act, to listen, to protest, and learn from those best poised to offer their wisdom. I hope that in those moments, we know the stark difference between experience and lived experience, and that we never for a moment trivialize the enormity of our individual battles. I have seen us as a community come together to speak out and speak up, to raise each other as we do our expectations of ourselves. I have no doubt that we will continue to. I spent most of my early childhood waiting for the quiet arrival of my own identity. But there are not enough experiences, not enough places to move, not enough new notebooks that have made me feel as adequate as the realization that I have within me the power to stop running from what I cannot change. So I hope that when uncertainty is what you are faced with, that you respond with tenacity, with kindness, and with the audacity of comfort. Comfort in who you are and in what you've overcome. In the face of constant novelty, I hope that you take a moment to realize that if our yardstick for fulfilling lives is the distance we have traversed, the people we have met, and the experiences we have collected, then perhaps it is time we also consider the places we came back to, the people we hold dear, and the traditions we relived. I realize I'm starting to wax philosophical here, so I will start to end. In 5 years, I hope to read about all of you, about the impact you made, about the companies you run, the people you married, the companies you saved. But my elation is entirely shadowed by my jealousy. I am so envious of the people who are yet to meet all of you, yet to discuss ideas with you, yet to sit next to you at work, yet to ask you questions, yet to write songs with you, yet to become friends with you. They have no idea of the pure excellence, warmth, and unadulterated friendships that they are about to witness. But I do. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Congratulations, class of 2021. Today is your moment, today is your day, and I could not have ever imagined a better class to be a part of. Thank you so much.
I am going to share that I definitely broke a personal record on the Peloton during one of my finance classes. I'm not going to be specific to which one.
I don't always have pants on, I'll be honest. I think most of us will confess to that happening.
I will tilt my camera back a little bit so you only see the top of my head while I'm eating dinner or lunch.
Because we were in a studio when my boyfriend had to go on calls at the same time that I had class, if I had to speak during a class, I would go and take it from the bathroom.
During select classes or just select times when we're on Zoom, there may or may not have been Mario Kart session going on among certain people that I know.
Tons and tons of laundry. I was doing a lot of classes in that laundry room down in our basement.
Sometimes I turn off my camera and do yoga when taking classes at the same time.
Sometimes I used to gather with my flatmates during class. We all used to turn off the camera and we used to work out during class, and so it was the best way for us to motivate ourselves and listen to class while working out together.
Majority of the time I'm kind of like business up top, like kind of relaxed down the bottom, so I've definitely been making the most of being able to wear sweatpants every day.
If I know I'm about to talk, I'll run into the room, put on the first shirt I find, so a very wrinkly one such as this. Throw that on, ask my question, then turn the video off, take the shirt back off, and get comfy again.
There are some classes that end at 9 p.m. and by then you're just like, oh, what's happening? And so for those classes, I sometimes sneak a White Claw into my water glass and just like this.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce Student Government Co-President Satsheel Redkar. Satsheel graduated from the University of Mumbai, where he earned his bachelor's degrees in commerce and law and went on to become a chartered accountant. He has worked at Ernst & Young and BCG, where he was instrumental in establishing the India LGBTQ network called Pride at BCG. He then joined Advent International in their India office, where he worked primarily on healthcare and consumer sector deals. In addition to his role as co-president of Expo, Satsheel has served as chair of Cluster G, AVP on the boards of the PE Club and Cluster Q, and he was Cluster H 2022 Peer Advisor, a Leadership Lab Fellow, and a member of the Hermes Society. Over the past summer, he interned at Kohler Capital, a leading secondaries fund, and will be heading back to the New York office full-time.
Thank you, Dean Maglaras. Hi, class of 2021. Wow, it feels surreal to say that in the context of our graduation. It feels like just yesterday we were at Pier 60 shouting our cluster chants for what were going to be an incredible 2 years of our lives. I know none of us were expected to do graduation virtually. Graduation is a special day, and I'm very excited to be graduating with you all. My parents had told me they'd make the 15-hour-long journey to the US only for my graduation. But sadly, they too are attending this virtually, like all of us. Back in Feb 2020, I remember confidently predicting that COVID would be over by August, having leveraged all that I learned in the core about trend analysis. At the time, I had just managed to snag a last-minute seat on the coveted Israel trip after making multiple failed attempts to plan a trip to South America and giving up. I'm sure you all can relate to the CBS phenomena of trip shopping. You just don't commit in the hope of finding a better trip. But as we went into exam week a few days later, things started shutting down. People left the city. Physical contact became unheard of. But we had our own shared experiences, memories and relationships from the first year to keep us going. Those socials in Uris Delhi that only a few went to religiously, that maskless sea of humans at rugby happy hours, those warm and cozy cluster dinners and retreats, and even those riveting accounting and Kaufman classes. As I stand in front of you amazingly talented bunch of people, I know I'm no one to offer advice, but someone very wisely remarked that every student at CBS is a manager. Everyone has solutions to every problem at hand. In that context, my fellow managers, I wanted to share a few lessons I learned at CBS. Surprisingly, most of these came outside of the 60 credits that we needed to graduate. As we head out into the real world, I hope some of these will help us become not only successful professionals, but also better human beings. 1, stand up for what is right. There will be times when you need to speak up, to stand your ground for what you believe is right. Studying at CBS has been a privilege, and if we don't use this privilege to protect those without, we aren't doing our job right. And there could be consequences, but in the end, it's probably worth it if the cause was. 2, focus on your stakeholders. The pandemic forced many companies and organizations to take steps which, with the benefit of hindsight, could have been done differently. And that's the very nature of uncertainty, in that it forces you to go beyond your everyday comfort, to think outside the box. Every stakeholder has different needs, and it can be challenging to cater to everyone's demands. But it is important to care for your key stakeholders. We need to ask ourselves and push our institutions to ask themselves, how do we engage stakeholders in a conversation about their needs? How do we find a way to ensure that we meet the needs of our stakeholders? And if you're not able to do so, how do we make good on those losses? We all felt this as students last year. But now the time comes to ask ourselves these very questions as leaders. 3, stay united and build a stronger community. Another lesson we very dearly learned was the cost we paid for not staying united, for not taking the entire community into confidence. We also saw what happens when an entire class's trust system breaks down. It underlined the importance of being stronger as a community, that we must learn together how to resolve conflicts, understand different perspectives, and build bridges. As leaders of tomorrow, I know we can do better. And finally, take that opportunity. It does not knock twice. The pandemic made us realize this when suddenly things we were waiting to do were no longer available. I hope our class will still yearn to redeem some of these experiences, and that we get more such opportunities. And this time, take those chances. And we all agree this has been a crazy year. This prolonged pandemic, systemic racism and social justice issues, the blatant attack on democracy, and free speech being threatened globally. And then we had our own internal issues to deal with. We did go through a lot, but we're together. We had each other. I asked a few of you what you felt about your CBS experience, and many of you shared your thoughts. CBS is about the people and the relationships you take forward. We could say that the pandemic took a lot from our class, but it also gave us a lot. It brought us closer in this shared crisis. It allowed us to slow down our lives and take a moment to spend with our loved ones. And it forced us to go out of our comfort zones to interact in newer, more innovative ways. This has been a year of resilience as a community, forging deeper bonds and being forever joined by this experience. And believe me, everyone stepped up. OSA and the deans, professors, club and cluster leaders, the PAs, Hermes Society members, everyone. Right from reaching out to our classmates during BLM protests, or finding ways to virtually connect with those who are not comfortable meeting in person, or having Folly stun us with a mesmerizing virtual performance, to PAs trying to hype it up at 7 a.m. on Zoom from their bedrooms. Everyone stepped up. And while I won't miss many things from this pandemic, there will be things some of us will miss as we graduate. The most important being shutting down our scavengers. My grocery bill legit increased once it shut down. And who wouldn't miss those hot dogs from Uris Delhi? And remember the free coffee at Lehman Lounge? I don't drink coffee, so I cannot feel the pain of losing access to bad coffee, but it seems real. And when else would we have gotten to take afternoon naps during your internship? Or do coffee chats without having to trudge all the way downtown? Or finally have that one excuse to get a dog? But as we contemplate life post-Columbia, we will have to navigate an increasingly competitive world. I know we can rely on friendships and people we met here to not only survive, but thrive. And when I think about the people I met at CBS, I do ask myself often, what did I do to deserve them? While I'm partial to Cluster Galaxy for being the best cluster out there, I also want to give a shout out to the Avengers, Beehive, the Crew, Ducks, Explorers, Falcons, Habaneros, Extras, Y2K, and Zorros. To the hotshot PAs for being such a stellar team. To friends like McKinsey for offering me her apartment in case I lost mine during the pandemic. To Lauren, Elon, and countless others for supporting me during tough times. To Aditya for coming to CBS when he knew it would all still be virtual. And finally, to my absolutely amazing Student Government Expo team. I could not have done much without your support. I would also like to take a moment to recognize valuable contributions from many of our colleagues, the school, the community, and to our class. Not all heroes wear capes, and not all contributions are rewarded. But we see you all. Before I finish, though, I want to make 2 quick disclosures. I was recently told that people still think I went to Turks and Caicos. I did not. I'm not even in the Follies Turks and Caicos video. And second, this may or may not be my original speech. I hope to meet many of you next year for a 1-year reunion, hopefully at Manhattanville. I now have the honor and immense pleasure to introduce my partner in crime and my good cop, bad cop teammate, without whom this past year would have been so much tougher. My co-president on Expo, Ashley Cooke. Thank you.
Thank you. And greetings, graduates, my brilliant, good-looking, and of course, humble classmates, but mostly my beloved CBS fam. I'm Ashley Cooke, probably best known at CBS for being the co-president of Expo, sometimes known as that girl from J-Term that's always tagging along with Satsheel and maybe cramping his style, but I think I'd make him look cooler. Or my personal favorite claim to fame, the person who thought that creating Gov updates on Slack was a really great idea to bring the community together, because what could go wrong? Over the last few months, I've been asked a lot, what is the craziest thing that you've seen while you've been on Expo? And if I'm being honest, there's a lot I could say, a little tea I could spill, but honestly, the year has been really hard, brutal by anyone's standards. And the pandemic aside, at CBS, we've had to unnecessarily endure things specific to our community that tested our patience, our grace, and I don't think it's being too dramatic to even say maybe it tested our humanity. I've seen your frustration over perhaps a harder to validate ROI for the investment needed for business school. I've seen your frustration manifest in different ways, in anger and in tears and honestly, in sometimes egregious behavior. But far more often, I've seen classmates care immensely about each other, immensely about CBS and our shared experience versus an individual one here. I've seen classmates create great moments that were born out of great opportunity for both themselves and for our class. I've seen you navigate your life transitions with relatively minimal hiccups, have extremely hard conversations with impressive amount of tact and diplomacy, and be really creative in finding opportunity within our own CBS ecosystem that created value for yourselves and others. While I really don't have profound advice or wise words to share with you on graduation day, I will say that I hope that you can walk away from CBS just recognizing all that you've accomplished here, and that you can honor that by simply continuing to carry the torch that you've already lit. Because at the risk of sounding too sappy, your light shines on the rest of us. Since I had nothing wise or profound to say for this proverbial room of brilliant people, when I was prepping for this speech, I asked a number of friends a random question, which is very on brand for me, but it was also a deliberately pointed one, and maybe you can take a moment to think about what your answer would be yourself. Do you feel like you achieved anything at CBS during COVID? Well, the funniest answer was by far a very quick no. But of course, the long answer to that was more positive and nuanced, but every single response I got was truly revealing about something marvelous about what we've done here. Each one of the responses was very relatable to my own CBS experience. So instead of giving you platitudes about resilience or how you should go forth from CBS and chase your wildest dreams of world domination in business, I'll let our classmates do the talking and share 3 things that they achieved over the last year. The first was, I learned what I'm good at and what I'm not. And I thought this was amazing. If you've learned that you're great at annihilating your opponent in managerial negotiations, but you're really terrible at accounting, I think that's valuable intel to guide your professional life. And that self-realization only comes with time and the opportunity to try new things, which are more rare when you're outside of this non-MBA ecosystem. So that seems absolutely like a win to me. The second was CBS was the best way I could have spent the pandemic. And I thought that was a pretty smart answer too. I'd never assumed that we as CBS students had a homogenous pandemic experience because surely we didn't, right? There was unique individual challenges and it's important to remember that. But on the other hand, for many of us who didn't have the burden of needing to perform for work, it was a privilege to have a network of fellow classmates that we could stay connected with when so much of the world was stuck in greater isolation. In the thick of the pandemic, I would get a little annoyed at times when I would hear, we'll get through this together, because honestly, I didn't want to hear it. But thinking back, I think we kind of did, and I'm really grateful for that. The third response was I embraced every experience without overthinking too much about consequences, which is a kind of freedom that I realized is not eternal. And this one blew my mind because I've been reveling in this freedom and an increased sense of self-assurance that I've grown into at CBS. And as we transition out of this fantasy MBA world of learning and growth before getting back to the real world, I've been thinking on how to let that spirit live on for years to come. It really reminded me that what I hope most for all of us is that we take the best parts of CBS and honor them in our hearts throughout our lives to come. So I'll leave you with one more classmate response. I said 3, but one more will do, which I think sums up the experience for so many of us, and that is simply, hell yeah, it was a great year. And the only thing I can say to that was, it really was. We see so much opportunity in a year where there was seemingly none, and had a blast while doing it. You not only survived an impossible year, but you thrived, and I couldn't be prouder or honestly just more in awe of you. So I want to thank you for the grace that you've shown to me personally as well, especially the times where you saw Satsheel and I as people and classmates that you can trust and lean on, rather than forces trying to cramp your fun. Getting to experience this with you has meant the world to me and really showed me how much light we can create together when the night was perhaps at its darkest. I believe that CBS alumni, the network is strong in any year, but especially since we've all had a traumatic year and shared trauma is so bonding, I have a hunch that the class of 2021 will always have each other's back. So I just want you to know that we're all rooting for you. Thank you.
I'm a member of Cluster A21, that's the Avengers. And we are definitely the best for a variety of reasons.
And with the first pick of the CBS draft, Cluster B, best cluster out there, hands down.
Cluster C21, we're the crew. My cluster is honestly my CBS family.
We are Cluster D21. We are the proud ducks, the mighty ducks.
So I was in Cluster E.
We were the explorers.
I'm in Cluster F21. We're the Falcons.
Cluster G, the galaxy. We truly do span the galaxy.
Yeah, the habaneros are definitely the best. There are no other clusters that have that embody the same spicy energy that the habaneros do.
Yeah, so to be an X is, just being extra, and everyone kind of embodies that in their own way.
I am part of Cluster Y21. Hey, Y2K.
So Cluster Z, Zorros, is definitely the best. Every time we meet, it's just like old friends seeing each other like a big family.
We have a lot of cluster trips planned when we graduate, hoping things are open.
It's very much like family.
I immediately felt at home within the Ducks, and I think that really speaks volumes to the family that we've created, the environment amongst everyone.
While there's technically no winner, I think everybody, and not just us, would say that the Falcons were the clear winner of the dance group.
Closing time, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time, one last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can stay here. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Closing time, time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Closing time, this room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come.
So gather up your jackets, move it to the exits. I hope you have found a friend. Closing time, every new beginning comes from some of the beginning's end.
Closing time, time for you to go out to the places you will be from. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Closing time, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
As we close today's ceremony, please join me in congratulating our MBA graduates. Great opportunities lie ahead for all of you. Until we meet again, I can't wait to hear about where your journey takes you. Congratulations, graduates.
Now presenting Cluster A. Mehmet Sinan Achikalen, Vidisha Agarwal, Basil A. Alamari, Maria Alvarez Villalonga, Flavio Arruda Cerqueira, Rebecca Bergman, Tanvi Bhaskar, William Bland, Elizabeth Boldrick, Suha Buhas, Catherine Bram, Kyle Campbell, Carolyn Capone, Andrew Chang, Patrick Chen, Darren Chu, Xiao Wei Chua, Matthew Clarita, Jack Conrad, Nisha Datta, William Dunn, Jason Epstein, Matthew Giannuzzi, Lean Hamdan, William Hughes, Tony Hung, Rishi Iyengar, Yi Ji, Lin Jin, Jeffrey Johnson, Matthew Jones, Dennis Kao, Jack Ken, Sergey Kim, Brittany Kraft, Rachel Yuchi Lee, Catherine Lipsher, Eric Liu, Scott Ma, Kush Suresh Modi, Elvis Mackay, Haley Netherton, Ohinaba Ama Enti Ose, Obuneme Uchena Obukwelu, Shunsuke Oka, Nishant Panigrahi, Patricia Pardo Martin, Leticia Pataji, Joy Peyton Stevens, Maxwell Pearl, Garrison Poston, Jonathan Reve, Michelle Ritter, Kevin Roque, Victor Salama, Samini Shah, Elizabeth Solomon, Nupur Sutaria, Hanson Tan, Alberto Tardio Saraceda, Anthony Villamagna, Angela Wang, Shu Chao Wang, Michael Wang, Lonald Dean Wisham II, Yang Yang Yang, Shan Yao, Xin Chen Yuan, Ting Zhang. Now presenting Cluster B, Christina Audette, Katie Barral, Andrew Berman, Misbah Badwani, Hanson Chang, Min Young Choi, Jia Liang Chua, Delane Cohen, Chloe Catullus, Maureen Darmany Dreyfus, Carlos de Bracamante, Douglas Dutton, Dean Ibozoe, Imafidan Edomwonyi, Eli Engelman, Emily Flannery, Stacy Friedberg, Natasha Gabe, Brendan Gaglia, Tyler William Gamble, Gang Gang, Sandra Henriquez, Samuel Hong, William Hoy, Vishesh Sanjay Jain, Gizem Kachmaz, Kendall Gallagher, Adam Kaplan, Kabir Kapoor, Aisha Karasoy, Ivy Ke, Annie Keating, Siddhant Kemka, Sohee Kim, Seil Kim, Daniel Koo, Jacob Kornman, Dan Kremowski, Anthony Lashley, Michael Lee, Sungchan Lee, Corey Learn, Alexandra Mangum, Gabriele Martagiani, Amanda Martin, Blake Nachman, Evan Nazareth, Connor O'Boyle, Alexandra Olsowski, Michael Oster, Saloni Paliwal, Trio Pham, Ye Kwan, Ronald Ruishao Ma, Ignacio Sanchez de Lerin Micas, Amay Sapre, Saniha Shankar, Fei Fei Song, Christopher Tompkins, Rachel Wang, Lisa Weingarten, Myongyue Ye, Tae Yu, Jackie Young, Michael Zabar, Nicole Jackson.
Now presenting Cluster C. Todd Adams, Frederick George Adler, Gonzalo Alvarez de Toledo Ortiz, Ashley Anderson, Kushagra Aniket, Christine Bancroft, Brandon Bayer, David Boswell, Stephen Bradley, Benedict Capaldi, Nicole Casey, Jibang Chai, Eugene Chang, Yingxin Chen, Parth Chopra, Mehul Chaudhry, Justin Clapper, Mackenzie Coles, Anna Dong, Malika Flanagan, Nikita Garg, Priya Gore, Elizabeth Green, Nikunj Gupta, Pritika Gupta, Thomas Guthrie, Eleanor Hagland, Brittany Hamlin, Valerie Hull, Nikki Holsberg, Robert Horn, David Huxley Cohen, Coulter Illick, Alessi Itere, Hyunggi Dong, Zaire Julian, Aliza Khan, Andrew Karp, Elizabeth Katz, Sumit Kaur, Vaishak Kadoth, Petrus Layarda, Ruoyun Lee, Andy Liao, Sarah Ling, Federico Mizell, Megan O'Brien, Laura Ordóñez Castillo, Gareth Pembroke, Leticia Perez, Julian Richardson, Lauren Rogers, Richard Rogers, Ayush Rustagi, Amitabh Sahai, Saloni Samand, Jeremy Sia, Eric Shu, Kostya Simonenko, Juliet Snyder, John Sredulski, David Trin, Shuoyun Tu, Simran Virk, Sandra William, William McCollum Windmill, Shiping Shu, Xiaolan Shu, Yushu Yang, Raymond Yi, Constance Ju Yu. Now presenting Cluster D. Rachit Agrawal, Sophie Alsheimer, Vanessa Anoni, Mata Oriarad, Mitchell Barth, Somya Bhatta, Malika Bhargava, Naomi Amora Bui, Liam Byrne, Sterling Campbell, Paul Chandler, Lap Chi Hugo Chang, Chutian Chen, Kenneth Chen, Yi Cheng, Julia Dean, John Devine, John Dosey, Josh Fink, Sean Fleming, Barry R. Ginsberg, Carolyn Gregory, Molly Himmelstein, Anna Koninchny Hausman, Grant Hugany Clark, Chitrang Jen, Anurag R. Kadasne, Katie Zacharias, Andrew Kim, Berkai Kinacha, Taylor Kunkel, Andrew Lee, Allison Levins, Joseph Lee, Chen Lee, Yang Liu, Gladys Liu, Amitabh Mahendran, Felipe Martinez, Adam Meffert, Olivia Mell, Lizzie Merrill, Benjamin Mull, Alexander Moore, Stephen Nelson, Nicole O. Yang, Andrea Pardo, Marina Peixoto Gondim, Leonid Pritsovsky, George Christian Pruteanu, Jonathan Rappaport, Joseph Sass, Catherine Savasik, Minna Schilling, Gurpreet Singh, Salal Sipahi, Aaron Smallberg, George Franklin Smith IV, Sarah Sue Hu, Brittany Spaccaratella, Anne Troy, U Fat Te, Emily Udall, Iklavia Opal, Christopher Vandenberg, Jonathan Waddell Kaplan, Josephine Way, Miriam Wishnick, Joe Yang. Now presenting Cluster E. Andrew Amorosa, David Attia, Ross Basri, Carly Blum, Tyler Breland, Julia Buckman, Dario Cabanas Pellicer, Jason Chen, Xianglong Chong, Anna Coffey, Leslie Connor Warren, Byron Cortez, Chance Craig, Christopher Diali, Rodrigo Cardoso de Paula, Ryan Faber, Nicholas Franco, Oleg Galperin, Zahi Goryev, Randall Goldfarb, Clementine Gotel, Peter Gross, Amanda Haight, Farrell Ulrich Hannafin, Lawrence Ho, Enrique Huzeman Menezes Profeta, Yara Itani, Suyang Zhang, Martim de Mello, Sami Khan, Caroline Coppell, Si Hyung Lee, Alexis Levinson, Matthew Lim, Ji Chang Liu, Paula Lopez Itois, James Linfield, Victoria Mann, Ishan Majumdar, Utsibayar Manja, Jessica Meyer, Shaunak Misra, Hikari Naka, Hiroto Nakamura, Christina Quaranta, Albert James Rabago, Kelly C. Ragg, Chance Rodriguez, Tanachot Rochana Kitumnoy. Marcelo Rosenthal. Michael Sabin. Chloe Schachter. Rebecca Schwartz. Sarah Smoller. Sharanya Srinivasan. Samuel States. Malada Tadessa. Samantha Udolph Samaroff. Frank Wang. Chanel Washington. Andrew White. Scott Wiebel. Jiaming Yu. Christina Zhang. Now presenting Cluster F. John Christopher Abercar. Derek Anderson. Francis Arland. Rebecca Aronson. Anurag Bhatnagar. Micah Joslow. Michael Biondi. Alejandro Blaquier. Manuel Burbano Bermudez. Kate Burkhardt. Kyle Butler. Chan Chelik. Akshay Chavla. Jian Tue. Karina Dadashev. Jeff Danilak. Jessica Davis. Themistocles Devris Sampatakakakis. Christian Diali. Alon El-Hanan. Amy Fertig. Kendra Forsyth. Surab Gaffer. Blake Garcia. Emily Greenwald. Pablo Gutierrez Oyhanarte. Kaylin Haley. Esco He. Javier Enriquez. Elena Holodny. Lane Hovey. Galen Casey Jones. Alex Tong Chu Ke. Tai Il Kim. Kimberly Kirk. Alexis Curtin. Abhishek Lal. Tim Lecklider, Mercedes Lee, Chauhan Lee, Shinshin Lee, Helen Lindemann, Kevin Liu, Alexandra LaBelle, Lindsay Liu, Lin Yalin Luo, Utkarsh Malhotra, Rodrigo Mendoza, Michaela Maltedo, Wing Eng, Suman Park, Mert Pestilje, Blair Roth, Christina Russell, Aaron Schifrin, Robert Sigmund, Jane Somwa, Mitchell Drew Stone, Janwen Sun, Mingju Tang, Lei Tian, Stephanie Van Grunendahl, Eduardo Veronese Hanselin, Christopher Wilkinson, Shuang Wu, Fan Zhao. Now presenting Cluster G. Caroline Quigley Adler, Medina Akhmatova, Nabila Amercy, Alex Andrews, Satvik Balram, Rebecca Benditson, James Bogush, Jocelyn Bone, Gonzalo Bustos Fernandez, Jet Chan, Ruth Chen, Alex Chung, Diego Cook, Brian Corbett, De Carlos Davis, Alex Derbyshire, Bradley Elkman, Brett Feibush, Jenny Forrest, Vishesh M. Garg, Ignacio Gaulu, Ryan Hagerbrandt, Yoav Menachem Haim, Charlton Hook, Brian Hui, Andrew Iftode, Doug Johnson, Qian Liu, Yang Liu, Mayank Lakwani, Alexander Lucan, Emily Marie Luna, Christopher Magara, Sabrina Mateen, Alexandra Mazzio, John Millett, Toby Milstein, James Muller, Justine Murphy, Catherine Nelson, Diana Inlea, Shoya Nozaki, Jiwei Uyang, Annie Rosen Pai, Jeffrey Parr, Amanda Fabe, Karen Minkin, Lisa Channing Portney, Dallas Polson, Satsheel Redkar, Dominic Rickard, Emily Schloss, Katie Schneider, Leonid Shanjin, Sunny Shen, Stefano Solari, Alex Solomon, Yu Tian, Orkun Tibet, Anna Sidlidu, Yuri Turbiev, Ignacio Villen Alonso, Logan Voss, Madeline Wilner, Di Wu, Yiqiang Zhao. Now presenting Cluster H. Anas Abu Hawili, Danae Bell, Jillian Berman, William Blake, Edward Chen, Jeremy Cooper, Kendall Elise Curry, Kartikeya Dar, Griffin Dottle, Daryl Eng, Zachary Fallon, Christopher Fallon, Guinea Fernandez Danz Goicoechea. Patrick Richard Firth. Chris Fitzgerald. Ayush Gandhi. Matthew Habig. Carolyn Eve Hoffman. Mark Hu. April Huang. Kristen Jancy. Courtney Johnson. Jeffy Joseph. Albert Cow. Martin Katz. Nathan Kenny. Kayla Kesslin. Danielle Krugman. Ross Laird. Talia Lefkowitz. Stephanie Lin. Yushin Liu. Julie McDonough. Konstantin Malishkin. Payal Morate. Lucinda Major. Nikki Mendel. Raghav Mishra. Sona Makurchian. Paul Rapipat Mankaladesai. Katie Ober. Ondubisi Honora. Diksha Pandey. Kampanath Pantito Sanyu. Sebastian Parada Ortega. Juanita Paul. Kayla Phillips. Rohman Oscar Javier Puno. Scott Reddy. David Rifkin. Jessica Rosner. Santiago Sarkis. Eric Sayers. Christopher Schlepfer. Marilyn Schwartz. Michael Anthony Senna. John Howard Sidman. Gabriel Siegel. Joseph Allen Sine. David Sitt. Madison Skinner. Charlotte Mia Skinner. Neil Jujian Tan. Daniel Tatey. Nicolaus Tucker. Joseph Vittoria. Jesse Wu. Sophia Yu. Yi Ju.
Now presenting Cluster X. Dorian Acosta. Sophie Allen. Yort Alabrandi. Max Amon. Fiona Camille Angel. Pekun Bakare. Mark Boschart. Casey Buckley. Francesca Carini. Winnie Shaishat Pornsuk. Nicholas Carrara. Rainbow Chick. Fermin Cifuentes. James Liu. Igor Rios. Maureen Deveni. Sanam Kaur Tanawa. Hugo Franklin Dongmo. Sinan Dundar. Beatrice Enrico. Barbara Falcon. Kazuha Forubo. Shivani Gulab. Ryan Mitchell Green. Mang Yun Hu. Francisco Hasier. Paulo Kaznodze. Abhijit Khanna. Kunal Kiani. Sudaksh Kular. Gabriel Kim. John Burt Kleinheinz. Danielle Cohn. Daniel Letchford. Victoria Yuxuan Lin. Juan Luna. Andrew Luo. Shraddha Mani. Joao Martins. Olivia Massey. Jesse McCormick. Sorab Mehra. Reina Misaki. Timothy O'Brien. Rustam Orazaliev. Nicholas H. Pinto II. Parth Chef. Vivek Singh. Salim Tamari. Oranat Tanti Siriwat. Tommaso Toriani. Siddharth Tripathi. Laura Ulrich, Cameron Wertheimer, Amy Wilson, Kotaro Yamada, Narangsha Uranium, Yingling Zhang. Now presenting Cluster Y. Jo Abisab, Ami Emprasitichai, Stephen Allen, David Almeida, Abdulmajid Alamran, Emrekan Atoglu, Bruna Barreto, Duncan Bender, Luca Bottaini, Gennaro Bruno, Belen Cao Fernandez, Alessandro Chiavari, Rich Chirativat, Hun Chung, Pablo Clark, Layla Collins, Maria Donaldseva, Christina DeMarcos, James Della Femina, Nicole DeCamp, Xerxes Escano, Sophia Fang Yangqin, Miguel Fernandez, Ryan Fitzgerald, Juan Fontaine, Daniel Friedman, Eliana Greenberg, Catherine Healy, Yingda Hu, Xin Yi Huang, Manali Jain, Aditya Jain, Asalan Kazimov, Varant Kodalazian, Andrew Lee, Jungdo Lee, Si Liu, Bernardo Lopez Santos, William Loden, Roy Manor, Sophie Meerstadt, Samuel Mindlin, Shintaro Miwa, Christine Marcus, Patrick Pembroke, Margarita Piccini, Mark Rosenberg, Rola Saleh, Charbel Sebali. Alton Sousa. Giancarlo Solari. Juan Sosa. Mahati Schroeder. Max Dormant. Lila Siksai. Edwina Tanios. Katie Tsai. Erica Tong. Chiranyaporn Uvimochai. James Wang. Raphael Wertheimer. Guy Wongtongsi. Anran Yen. Sumin Yan. He Ho Yoon. Bilal Zainadine. Jing Shan. Marcos Ziti Guriglio. Now presenting Cluster Z. Juan Acosta. Vinit Ahuja. Ryan Albert. Varisara Asakul. Samantha Bachelich. Alvaro Baratino Suarez. Tatiana Blank. Pier Francesco Bosco. Keeling Brown. Jessica Chi. Pei Chi Chuang. Santiago Ciordia. Jeremy Cohen. Ashley Cook. Cristina De Leva. Rodrigo Dominguez Fonseca. Salima Gadini. Patricia Gonzalez Mendez. Eduardo Grillo. Christopher Guerreri. Ujwal Gupta. Andreas Helland. Soyeon Han. Cindy Horn. Fei Huang. Rivers Hughes. Par Jitnamplang. John Kim. Ryan Konsman. Enyu Lee. Roberto Loyman. Jane Lurod Luang. Flavio Maciera. Cynthia Montasis. Eduardo Moroku Netu. Nuno Morgado. Lara George Najjar. Ziad Nasif. Ivo Paglialanga. Carlo Palermo. Richard Palkiwala. JD Pinto. Federico Prunoli. Anil Rizaoglu. Cole Rotman. Jansu Shanajak Hirsch. Indra Sharma. Hamza Sheikh. Ian Santiago Shusiu. Anna Silvestri. Megan Simon. Ankit Anuragsina. Warinya Sri Watanatrakul. Santiago Tenorio. Sophie Tso. Julie Van Wyck. Haley Vanderlinden. Peter Bosvisser. Margot Wolters. Xuan Xie. Jusuk Yi. Michael Zauderer. Yue Shang.
All right, so Jonah.
Hey.
I'm about to go and watch the cluster watch parties.
All right.
What do you think I should do? I'm in the office. Should I just keep it like this, or should I add some kind of background?
You know me, I like a virtual background.
Congratulatory for them.
Okay. All right. I think we can handle that.
All right.
2021.
How about this?
Yeah. Maybe they won't recognize you with that on.
How?
Like the modern, like that. But oh, I like that. Yeah.
A little bit French.
Yeah, a little bit French. I like the gold. But the hat, I think that's a look.
I'll use that next time I teach.
For Cluster P. Got any good disguises?
How about this?
Hey.
I'll also use
Who's
it.
ready to party with the dean?
How about this? Just to be a little bit more celebratory.
Okay. I think they'll like that one.
Yeah?
That strikes the right tone.
I'll keep that one.
Yeah. Looks good.
All right. I'm off.
All right. Have fun.